Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
Thank you. For the last 24 days, our nation's concern has been focused on our fellow Americans being held hostage in Iran. We have welcomed some of them home to their families and their friends, but we will not rest nor deviate from our efforts until all have been freed from their imprisonment and their abuse. We hold the government of Iran fully responsible for the well-being and the safe return of every single person. I want the American people to understand the situation as much as possible, but there may be some questions tonight which I cannot answer fully because of my concern for the well-being of the hostages. First of all, I would like to say that I am proud of this great nation. And I want to thank all Americans for their prayers, their courage, their persistence, their strong support, and patience. During these past days, our national will, our courage, and our maturity have all been severely tested. And history will show that the people of the United States have met every test. In the days to come, our determination may be even more sorely tried, but we will continue to defend the security, the honor, and the freedom of Americans everywhere. This nation will never yield to blackmail.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the one and only Awakener podcast. So much to talk about in this episode, but first things first, you need to go to theawakener.ca. That's one word, theawakener.ca. There really is no plausible way, to explain this to you in a 10-minute episode. It's just way too complicated. There's many layers to this onion. And really, until you listen to my shows over and over again, you really you'll think I'm crazy. You're never going to really understand the full kind of extent to this onion and what is actually happening. So interestingly enough, look how vulnerable our enemies have been. Look how easy it was to deal with Venezuela. Look how easy it is to seemingly almost deal with Iran. Why is it that no president ever has dealt with this? Well, it's because they've all been compromised to some degree. Obviously, some people have some dirt on them. They've done some shady things in their past, and I don't want this to come out, so let's keep it hush-hush. Others have completely sold their soul. Like, my belief is the Clintons have completely sold their soul, and they are the ones that they have always been used to advance the agenda, versus when the Republicans get in, blackmail is used to kind of slow down the agenda or not advance the right-wing agenda. Versus now you have somebody in the White House who I don't think they have any blackmail on whatsoever, because if they did, release the Epstein files. Believe me, Russia and China and Iran and crew would have gladly released any kind of evidence on Epstein already if there was any on Donald Trump to get him out of office, because he is turning into a giant nightmare for them. And look what he's doing in Iran already. Already so many people have been killed in revolutions. It's almost like, it's really interesting. They are kind of revolutionizing us and trying to overthrow our government, and they're manipulating us and doing stuff. And like I told you, we're also embedding them, manipulating them, and it's really glorious to watch. As I told you from the beginning, my belief is that this is happening for one reason and one reason only. Trump is basically a military operation which has seized control from obviously Barack Obama and his puppet, Hillary, who he had blackmailed, and was going to use her presidency as the final 8 years to control America's descent into oblivion. And he had already started this on his agenda. Now, Trump has gone in and done the absolute opposite of obviously anything Hillary would have done on her presidency. And now the United States of America sits up here as opposed to being down here. And this is happening because Iran and North Korea have advanced nuclear weapons, far more advanced than anything really has been told to you. And these weapons are obviously put on satellites in atmosphere and have the ability to kill the electrical grid of Israel and the electrical grid of the continental US. So the reason why Israel has done so much and done this already is because they've used the opportunity to destroy tunnel networks that were leading to basically in a war where people could just go through the tunnels and pop their heads up, and they've obviously filled them in with concrete. And that's why this has happened. They knew the attack was going to happen. They let it happen. It's war is shitty, ladies and gentlemen. What can you say? One side is expected to be so peaceful and not kill anybody and actually feed their enemies after the war happens. Well, the other side gets a free pass to basically whatever they did, even if they didn't win the war themselves. So it's pretty atrocious. Now, Israel obviously knows, and Mossad knows all of this for one reason and one reason only, is because I believe, and my belief structure has told me for a number of years, is that Kim Jong Un and the family are a giant mole, and they have been for a mole for a number of years. Obviously, with Syria's nuclear program that was destroyed by the Israelis back in 2004. The case of obviously the latest tanker that was sunk with Russian reactors, and the case, my beliefs is that Barack Obama was starting the fissile material over through Canada, the European Union, and onto Iran and North Korea, which means the family phoned up the DIA, the head of military secrets, which is supersedes the CIA and everything, and they told everybody, listen, your uranium just arrived on our soil. This led to, obviously, the U.S. military-industrial complex putting a plan together to overthrow Obama and put Trump in the White House. And this is where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. So Trump and the CIA have already started the overthrowing of Iran. These weapons that have gone into Iran, obviously, they've come from somewhere, from some source, Mossad or America or some reason. And this overthrow has already started. Now, this is going to be a long process that eventually leads to the overthrow of Iran. This is not going to happen in one swoop, I believe. I do not believe that Trump is going to do one bomb run and all of a sudden that the regime is going to go down. It's going to be multiple things that are going to happen. But in the end of this, I believe that Iran is going to cede what is called the Holy War, which I've talked about from the beginning. And I really hate to say this, but this using this EMP weapon on Israel and killing their electrical grid is really what they've kind of wanted to do from the beginning, which would leave Israel in a completely vulnerable state with no power and electricity. And obviously, I believe that their government knows this. A government knows that a war is imminent, and they've known this obviously since the time that Trump has won the White House. And this is why things have happened the way they've happened. Ask yourself this: if you controlled Kim and the family, would you just indict everybody and when things happen right away? No. I believe that the one side would use the information, pretend like nothing is happening, or indict people very slowly, and then goat, obviously, your enemies into doing a war where things could take a giant turn to the better of the world. Now, when I say that, I've always told people from the very beginning, and I lost a lot of followers this way. Everybody came to me and they said, "Oh, Trump is here for world peace," and I'm like, "No, he's not. He's a Western imperialist," which means that when he went into office, Obama already had their grenade for Hillary to explode on her presidency. And instead of diffusing this bomb, instead of basically, how do I say, it's falling on it and taking kind of the hit, I believe that he's chosen to simply repackage this grenade and toss it back to Russia and China, which means he's cut off the U.S. uranium flow. He's now gone to Kim and say, hey, you no longer have the ability to not get nuked out of this. We're going to kill you because you can't use our material anymore. It's gone. And Kim has been given an opportunity to basically give North Korea its freedom by betraying Putin and Xi, or he's going to get killed. If he does this to the USA, he's going to get nuked. And if he doesn't do this, the Chinese are going to invade him and they're going to kill him and his family. So really the only way out is through what Trump tells him to do. And so Trump is an absolute genius in my mind for some of the things he does. Like, he acts like an idiot in some sense, which I will admit, but the things that he does are pure genius. Like, imagine not knowing that Zelensky works for Putin. Imagine the European Union leaders working for Vlad through obviously a Soros network, or the government of Canada working for Vladimir through a Soros network. Now, imagine like he's forcing all these people to get together and just say, yeah, we're in this for world peace, guys. Guys, no more wars, just peace. That's it. Because in the end of this, he looks like he's not the instigator of anything that is going to happen from now on. And even if Russia and Ukraine come to a peace, which I don't think it ever is going to happen because they can't, he's going to look like absolute genius because really Russia is not going to play along with this. I'm tell you right now, because if they do attack Iran and they do overthrow Iran, everyone is going to know that there was U.S. fissile material inside Iran's nuclear facility that's buried. Everyone's going to know how it connects the European Union leaders, excuse me, to obviously all this mess. Everyone's going to learn about Obama. Everyone's going to learn about George Soros, the government of Canada being corrupt, and the Western world is going to go, wow. And this is why Russia is going to be forced to protect Iran. They're not going to let Iran go down without a fight. And if Russia's going to come along, I don't know why China's not going to come along too. It's going to be very interesting. So, like I told you, I do not believe in my heart that Trump is here for peace. He acts like he's here for peace. He's act like he's here for all this stuff, but really he's trying to put all these people who really don't want freedom in Iran. They don't want the US to win this world war. They don't want to give them Greenland. They don't want to give them the Canadian Arctic. They don't want to give people, they want to have a world war, but they don't want the Western world to win whatever it takes. So it's going to be really interesting to see. Iran's days are numbered. In my point of view, this is a really great opportunity. These people should have been dealt with a long time ago, but it really is only because of compromised politicians and presidents in U.S. history that this has ever happened. Like, think about it. Israel and the U.S. have had all the nuclear weapons to be able to deal with this from a long time ago. Why hasn't Israel nuked Iran when they had the opportunity for 30 years? Why? It's because the U.S. and our system of democracy and the Western world system of democracy is we allow opposing viewpoints into we accept demoralization. We accept these different radical views and we just accept the way democracy, this is the way society has to be. Versus on their side, they don't accept that whatsoever. And this is really the state of the world, ladies and gentlemen. Anyways, go to theawakener.ca. It's the best resource for you because if this was your first show, you're going to be lost. Take care.